Hey guys, Mark Rosetta here, and welcome to the Walk the Talk webinar series called The Education Exchange. Today I have got Chris Garbaz from Studio Ninja. Chris is a good friend of mine. We worked together at a studio a long time ago.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh.
It's a long time ago, and it's so cool to have you here, Chris, and I've loved watching your journey. But also from a Studio Ninja CRM point of view, I've been with you from the very start. How many years has it been now with Studio Ninja?
Mate, we're almost coming up to our 5th year. Launched in February 16, so it's getting there. It's been quite the ride.
I remember the phone call of, I've got an idea.
Yeah. And you're like, what? That's crazy, man. What are you doing?
Holy shitballs. That is a mountain to climb, but you've done it. It's awesome. I can't wait to introduce you to the team and for you to show people what you've got, what you're working on, how it works, what the process is, what's for the future. So I'm going to spotlight your video, mate, and the floor is yours. It's all yours.
All right, awesome. So I might just, I'll share my screen in a second. So a lot of you guys might know me already. Some of you might not know me. So just to give you a quick background, I'm also a photographer. I'm from Melbourne, same as Marky Mark originally. I've been shooting weddings for about 13 years now, and I might actually just share my screen and just run through some quick slides with you guys. Let's have a look here. Bang. Alrighty. Can you guys see this on the screen?
Yeah.
3 days.
All good.
All right, cool. Yeah, so look, I've been shooting weddings for about 13 years. I'm still to this day shooting roughly-ish like 40 weddings a year, except for literally right now, at the time of this recording, we are smack bang in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic. So probably like almost all of you, we're having a break, hopefully a short break, but yeah, we're all on a break for now. But yeah, usually on any given year, I'm roughly hitting about 40 weddings a year around Australia and New Zealand these days. I've been shooting in Melbourne almost the whole time, but last year I decided I needed to get sort of re-inspired at the 12-year mark. It's sort of getting a bit old, just shooting in the same locations all the time. So I ended up doing some marketing around Australia and New Zealand and booked a whole bunch of weddings, which was super refreshing and nice and just sort of re-inspired me. If anyone does want to check out my work, just chrisgarbacz.com.au. My surname is spelled Garbacz. If you do want to see any of my wedding stuff. So on top of Ninja and the 40 weddings, I'm also a dad. I've got 2 little kiddies, Lily and Flynn. So I spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday full time with these guys. Just no work, no emails, just have a good time being a dad. And that's a funny thing. So like, while running Ninja almost full time, managing it, marketing it, talking to my customers and shooting 40 weddings and juggling the little kids, I sort of think back, and the only reason I'm able to do that is because I have Studio Ninja. Like if I didn't have that, or Atave or any other sort of system in place, it just wouldn't be possible. Like I think back to when I was on the paper system, and I have a pile of folders on my desk, and that's like the top file is the next wedding I have to shoot, and I've got 100 calendar reminders of when I need to email that person, when I need to chase payments and all this sort of stuff. And I actually ironically felt more busy then, before kids and before Ninja, just trying to juggle 40 weddings without a system, than I do now, while having Ninja, the kids and the weddings. So that's kind of segues into like why I started Studio Ninja. This was over 5 years ago when we first began. But basically, 6 or 7 years ago, it got to a point in my wedding business where I was doing the 40 weddings and I was pulling my hair out. And there was a time where a bride called me on a Wednesday just asking me about my dietary requirements for Saturday's wedding. And I had completely forgotten that I had a wedding that weekend. So like if she hadn't called, I would have been absolutely freaking screwed. That was a close call. Another time, this is a funny story for you guys. Some of you may have had nightmares about this, but this actually happened to me. I was preparing for a wedding on a Saturday morning, packed my lunch, got in my car, drove an hour and a half to the groom's house, arrived punctually right at 10:30 a.m., the time I was supposed to start, got out of my car, opened my boot, no camera bag. Camera bag, I left it at home. I was just dealing with the kids, and I just rushed out the door. I thought I'd packed it, and arrived to the group's house with no camera. Couldn't believe it. Like, I literally had to knock on the door and say, hey, Jason, as dumb as this may sound, I left my camera at home. And he's like, what? But I called my wife, and she ended up dropping my camera bag at the bride's house, and I photographed an hour of the groom coverage with my phone. And I got through it. I told him if he wanted a refund, that'd be totally cool, but I'll send him the photos, and they can decide. And the photos were great. Like, not quite, Sony quality, but close enough. And they never requested a refund, and we survived that one. Anyway, that basically, from that point onwards, I was like, damn, I need to get something in place, because forgetting weddings and forgetting cameras is just not okay. So basically, this is all the stuff that was happening. This is the sort of stuff that might be happening to you guys, forgetting leads, forgetting to respond to people. And this was just happening to me over and over again. So I talked to some friends. They recommended some products to me, like Mark mentioned earlier, Tave, 17 Hats, all these guys. So I spent quite a bit of time, trialing those systems, setting up some fake jobs, fake leads, learning to do the settings. And I don't know if it was just me, like this is probably just a personal, this is how I felt personally about it. With all of them, they just didn't feel right. Like, they were just either, in my personal opinion, too complicated to use. The user experience was really messy. I couldn't work out the settings. If I needed to invoice someone, I just couldn't figure out how to do that. And the kicker for a lot of them, again, in my personal opinion, they were just too ugly. Like, I just would log in, and I feel like I'm looking at this 80s product, and I just wasn't happy with it. And that was literally the kicker, where I thought, okay, a lot of these systems are very powerful, but just don't quite fit it for me. I think I'm gonna start something new. So that's when I called Mark and said, dude, I've got an idea. And I also put the idea out to the community, and a lot of people sort of backed me up, and I got the confidence to give it a go.
And also too, though, I would say that you also have your web design as a background as well. So
yeah.
This wasn't just like totally left of field. You've got no idea how to do anything online. It was kind of in the same kind of space. So just...
Yeah. So that's right. And actually, to give you more context, this was my 11th business attempt on top of my wedding photography business. So I had 11 other businesses leading up to this one. And, all those 11 were like me giving it a hard crack to try and find another way to make money, basically. Like, I really wanted to have another business on the side of my weddings, because essentially I didn't want to be, me personally, starting shooting at 22. I didn't want to be still shooting weddings at 60. I just wanted to have other things in place that I could kind of diversify with. So yeah, this wasn't just like I started it and it worked. This is the 11th attempt of going through hell and back 11 times, and I finally figured it out. So yes, I had some experience in web design, in graphic design, in a lot of things that allowed me, in SEO, that allowed me to kind of get this off the ground without, I guess, spending too much money on design and all this stuff that could be prohibitive to some people. Anyway, so I teamed up with a good friend of mine, Ewan. He's the other co-founder of Studio Ninja. He's also a photographer, but also, more importantly, he has a business as a user experience designer and has been doing that for 10 years. And I pitched the idea to him. He loved it. He came on board. And then together we decided to, from that point onwards, try and build the world's most user-friendly studio management software. So that was in July, August of 2015. We just started putting all the wireframes in place, the designs in place, and we launched it in February 2016 to our sort of first batch of users. 5 years ago. No, almost 5 years ago. And yeah, from that point onwards, it's been a hell of a ride, as Mark knows some of it. There have been some horror stories. There've been some huge highlights. It's definitely, if anyone thinks it's easy, it is absolutely not easy. I'm just thinking if I should share a horror story with you guys, but I might anyway. It's kind of funny. Like this doesn't happen now, but this happened at the start. So in the first year of business, we had maybe 200 customers, and you know, we were definitely still building the product. We were still trying to figure things out. It was all very new to us, and two things actually happened. About 6 months in, on a Saturday, the system went down. This doesn't happen now, guys. This is a funny story of what happened then. This has all been, having those issues then has now allowed us to fix them now. And this, you know, we've got backups of backups, and this is almost, it's not almost, it cannot happen now. But back then on a Saturday, the system went down, and I had 200 photographers calling me saying, Chris, I'm driving to the bride's house. I can't log in to see where she lives. What am I supposed to do? And I was literally pulling my hair out and just talking to the team and trying to figure out and sending emails and text messages. And I was pretty close to pulling the pin. And another time, a few months later, we had a little glitch where everyone's calendars got mixed up. So Mark's weddings got mixed up with Chris's weddings, and for one weekend, it was just an absolute mess. But again, this is not happening now, guys. This is the funny stories from back then, which help us learn, help us grow, help us improve. So that's just another quick point to let you guys know of like the pain we went through to kind of get to this point. It's just like studying.
You learn a lot. You learn a lot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so we sort of took it to a certain point. What's my next slide? All right, cool. Yeah, so we took it to a certain point with what I thought the system should do and how it should work. And then we became super like user-centric. So we've got a mega, our Facebook group is super active. I and my team and Ewan talk to our users on a daily basis. And we're just constantly getting feedback from you guys. Those of you who use Studio Ninja, we might have chatted already before, or no doubt we've heard from you in the user group. And just constantly getting this great feedback of ideas, of improvements that I had just never thought of. And it's from that point onwards when we decided to really listen to our users and get that feedback, you know, we'll take it on board and we would improve the system over and over and over again. And that's still something that we're doing now. Every month we're releasing new features or improvements to the system based on the feedback that we get from you guys. And, you know, sometimes it's hard to hear, sometimes it hurts. You know, this feature sucks. Can you please improve it? And, you know, it hurts, but, you know, it just keeps making us work harder and be better. And that's how we've been running the business. You know, we keep listening to our customers.
And do you know what I love about that though, is that there's always something new happening. There's always something changing in Studio Ninja. There's always an upgrade. There's always an improvement. There's always customer service. One thing that we find that some of the other CRMs that I've used in the past, there's no feature. There's one feature upgrade every 12 months or something, and you can't get to the developers or a conversation with anybody because they're shareholders behind something that they passed off to someone else. And the best part is that you look at helping us and develop it, and it's like, what do you want to hear? What do you need? What do you know? What's happening? So it's awesome. From that perspective, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's two-sided, to be honest. Like from a business point of view, it's actually safer for us to listen to you guys, obviously, because then we're actually building a product that you guys are literally telling us that you want. So we're not guessing here. We're not spending 12 months of time and money developing a feature, which turns out nobody actually cares about. We're literally building the stuff that the majority of you guys are telling us that you need. So it's great for you, and it's actually very good for us too.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, cool. So I might actually, enough blah, blah stuff. I might give you guys a quick demo. Some of you guys that already use us, you may find this a bit basic or maybe not. I'll throw in a few extra tips. I'll just talk about some, you know, as I go through, there may be things that you were unaware of. Anyway, let's just get started. So let me just jump into Studio Ninja here. All right, cool. I'm just going to move some stuff around the screen so I can see my tabs here. All right, cool. So all of you guys that use Studio Ninja already would definitely recognize this screen. For all of you guys that don't, this is our dashboard. Every time you log into Studio Ninja, you're going to see this screen. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what's happening here.
Now, just a quick one. Is this a real person or is this your pretend page?
This is my business, man. No, I'm just joking. This is absolutely this is a test account that we use. Yeah. You know, so part of the process of signing up with us, you are invited, well, at any time, and especially at the beginning, you're invited to jump on a call with me or Elle. And it's just a one-on-one training call. You can have as many of those calls as you like. and we'll literally take you through this test account and show you how everything works, kind of like what I'm going to do today. And we'll give you some homework for your settings. We'll probably call you back in like a week and make sure you've done your homework and help you with whatever settings you don't understand, or if you need extra help with anything. So yeah, so you're definitely not just left alone. Like as you come into our system, we offer in-app chat. You've got a one-on-one training call, as many of those as you like. Yeah, and there's also samples of everything. So if you are coming from a paper system, or just like completely unaware of contracts, or just don't know what questions to ask your couples or your clients, we've got samples of everything. Workflow samples, contract samples for weddings and portraits and commercial, payment schedule samples, email template samples. Yeah, so basically as soon as you come in, everything's there ready for you. You know, once you set up some basic settings, you're pretty much good to go. We've had customers tell us that within 15 minutes, the system was set up and they were basically booking clients from that point onwards.
Can I just quickly jump in there? My challenge for the whole 70 people here, once you write in the chat box any other software that you use, that the person that developed the software offers you a phone call to help you to set it up.
As many phone calls as you like, by the way.
As many phone calls as you like. And this is the thing. When I was setting up other CRMs, I had to pay $1,000 or something, $1,500, $600 to get someone to help me to set it up. Where here, you've got Chris or the owners to be able to go, hey, if you need a hand, just give me a call and I'll just kind of help you out. It's freaking rad. I love it. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's okay. Just to wrap up on that, like, yeah, so if at any time you, okay, so 24 hours a day, you can just click on this little chat icon and just message us at any time, and we'll get back to you within a few minutes. A lot of you guys that already use us would definitely know that. If you have, you know, a problem, or you get stuck with something, or you can't work something out, just message us and we'll get back to you straight away and teach you how, you know, fix whatever your problem is. Here you can schedule a call with us anytime that suits you. And we've also got like a help academy, which if you feel like reading documents and following tutorials, you can do it that way as well.
Cool.
So that's that.
All right,
if you need help,
let's dive into this. Let's dive into the features. Yeah. It's like,
no, let's do it. I'll fly through this. All right, cool. So on the top level, here's a graph of most of your business analytics. So you can kind of see how much money you're making month over month, year over year, you know, last year compared to this year, next year. You can see how much money you're making. You know, you can choose your date range if you like, how many shoots you've got on, how many leads, et cetera, et cetera. Here you can see all your leads that are in the system. These are all the guys that you need to convert into booked jobs. So these guys have either have come through into Studio Ninja via the contact form, which kind of, so this is my website. If you go to Let's Chat, scroll down, and there's one example of a form. A bride fills that out. As soon as she does that, a new lead will automatically appear here. Okay. Straight away, as soon as this is here, you can see if there's a double booking. So this red cross, I wish I'd seen that, you know, 4 years ago when I had my problem, but this would straight away tell you if you have another job booked that same day. On the right-hand side, these are all your upcoming weddings or portrait shoots or appointments. So you can at a glance just see what's happening each day from today onwards. At a glance, you can see your next 10 payments that are due to you or overdue. These are overdue by 7 days, 2 days, 1 day. And here on the right, you can see all the tasks that you have to do based on the way that you've set up your workflows, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm just going to, let's book a pretend wedding. And it's the same process for a portrait or a wedding or whatever sort of shoot that you're doing. I'm just going to quickly put a new lead in. I'll put myself. Let's just call this Mark and Chris's wedding. Sorry, Mark. Come on, man. Live a little. All right, let's just say we're getting married. Sorry, dude. Let's just say it's like, you know, March 27th next year.
Oh, I got married on the 31st of March. That's okay.
So you're already married? Dude, yeah. You should have told me, man.
Sorry.
Anyway, so, you know, a wedding is generally all day. A portrait session, you know, you just choose the times that the shoot is. You can put in where the shoot is. You know, any notes, this is going to be an awesome wedding, bang, bang, whatever, save. All right, cool. So every single one of your shoots, all your weddings, all your portraits, all your whatevers will have this screen. This is basically the folder for this shoot. So on the left-hand side is your workflow. This is basically your to-do list. This is a list of things that you have to tick off, tick, 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 one at a time, from top to bottom as you go through the wedding or the portrait, all the way to the bottom until job complete. All right. When job complete, the wedding or the portrait is done and we're finished and on to the next one. This just helps you stay on track with everything. Like, have you posted your wedding sneak peek to Facebook? Have you emailed the couple about that? Have you uploaded to the gallery? Blah, 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 blah. On top of just being a to-do list, there's also quite a lot of automation that happens here. So for example, say I send them a quote and they accept it, which we'll do in a second. That basically confirms that the wedding is now booked in. And then a series of automatic emails are going to go out to this bride at different stages of the process. So one day after she pays a deposit, for example, an automatic email will go out saying, hello, bride, or hello, Jenny, or Mark in this case. Sorry, Mark.
It's all good. Feeling the love.
Yeah. So, hey, Mark, thanks so much for booking. Here are the next steps. Here's what to expect. I'll be in touch with you again, 2 months before the wedding. And then again, 2 months before the wedding, another automatic email goes out saying, hey, guys, or hey, Mark, your wedding's coming up in 8 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever. Here are the next steps. Let's organize a pre-wedding meeting, or let's start talking about the schedule. And basically any email that you guys normally manually send could or should, in my opinion, be automatically sent through the system, just so that it's never forgotten and you never need to think about it. The system does it for every single shoot that you do. A reminder that the photo shoot's happening tomorrow, an email the day after the shoot saying, yesterday was awesome. Let's schedule in an in-person sales session. Whatever emails that you guys send should be in the workflow and should be automated. All right. On the right-hand side is just the job details and everything that you can do. You can send invoices, you can send quotes, you can send contracts, questionnaires, you can upload files, make any notes about the shoot. So for example, I normally put the wedding schedule here. All of this is also on the Ninja app. So we have a mobile app, everything's on the phone. It works beautifully. It's really pretty. It's super easy to use. So on a wedding day, I'll just log in, my notes for the wedding are there, and it's done. Same for the portrait shoot. You may want to put the kids' names. You may want to put any details about the portrait shoot. Everything is there.
Cool. Who's that? It's all right.
All right. All right, cool. So let's just book someone in. So in this scenario, I'm going to send a quote, which allows in my case, Mark or the bride, or in your case, any sort of client can pick and choose whichever packages or additional products that they want. So let's do that. We're going to add a new quote. And I want to add, in this scenario, just for this demo, a pick and choose quote.
Yep. So this is really cool if you meet up with the bride and groom at a pre-consult or something, and then you go, hey, these are my 3 packages, trying to let me know.
Yep. Or you may have already met them and you've talked about it, but this just gives an opportunity that they might actually choose a bigger package than you had already talked about. You never know, right? So we're actually, let me show you. So this is how we make a quote. Okay, there's a little intro text. You can just say, thank you so much for considering me, blah, 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 blah. Let's add some packages. We want to add, for example, a wedding bronze package. We want to add a wedding silver package. We want to add a wedding gold package. And so the couple, or Mark in this scenario, will choose one of these. Okay. And I actually want to highlight the gold package as one that I recommend. Maybe I'll get lucky and he'll upgrade to the gold package if he was originally thinking about the silver.
You've already got lucky. I'm marrying you.
Whatever, man. All right, cool. So on top of those 3 packages, I would also like to add some additional products they might add on top, which I had not thought about, or it's a good way to upsell with no effort. So for example, let's add some extra products.
Like a parents album or a same-day slide. Oh yeah, cool. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So in the wedding world, again, this is the same for portraits, but let's just say a same-day slideshow that we'll do at the reception. I might also offer a second photographer to come along and get some extra angles and just be there as a backup. And I might also offer, drone coverage, just whatever extras you might want to add. They might see that and be like, oh, actually far out. I hadn't thought about a drone. Let's get the drone too. And there's an extra $300 for literally doing nothing. So that's a really easy way just to upsell some extra stuff. I don't want to add any discounts. No additional notes for now. this part's important, especially in the wedding world. What I want to do is apply a payment schedule. So once they choose their packages and products, this will straight away break it up into 2 payments, or you can have as many payments as you want. So that 25% will be due now as a deposit. And then next March, well, in February, most likely, automatic reminders will go out to Mark saying, hey, you have a payment coming up on this date, so that I never have to chase money again. So if Mark doesn't pay, another payment reminder will go out. And if he still doesn't pay, they'll continue going out until he does pay. It's nice that they receive it from a system, so it doesn't look like you're like hassling them personally. It's like, the accounting system is reminding you that you owe money. So they can't really get mad at you, but it also takes it away from you so that you never have to ever think about chasing money again. It just does it for you automatically, which, even if you make a big portrait order, you can put 10 payments of, $200 over, one every week or one every month, and the system does it all for you.
And there's nothing more sweeter than getting that email of saying you have been paid.
Yeah, exactly. All right. As part of this, just to wrap this up, as part of the process, so just to remind you, we've added 3 packages, we've added 3 products. I've chosen the payment schedule. At the same time, in the whole process, I want them to also sign a contract and answer some questions for me, all at the same time. So within like 1 minute, I've created my quote and I've saved it. This is what it's going to look like. Not that exciting from this point of view, but I'm just going to send it off. And cool, that's what it goes to, which will be Mark in this scenario. You can choose whatever email template you like.
Just slow down for a second. Can you go back into the email templates?
Yep.
They're all the sample templates.
Yep. So we've thought about every email that you guys, should be sending or could be sending, and we've created samples for those. So obviously you can create your own, you can modify ours, or pretty much just use ours. I would suggest that you read them first and,
Probably a good idea.
like I wrote these, so this is like my language, how I speak. So you guys obviously have your own way of communicating. I would put your own sort of, your own branding on those emails for sure. Anyway, happy with that. Send it. I'm not going to send it now, but let's just assume that it's sent. Again, this will be your email signature, your everything, okay? Not ours. All right. So when the bride receives, or when Mark receives this email, he will click on the link that says, please view your quote online by clicking here. As soon as he does that, he'll arrive at this place, which is called the client portal. This is what your clients see. This is what your bride sees. This is what your portrait client sees. It's all branded as you. So this will be your logo, your banner of whatever image you want to show. And it's literally as simple as this. The bride or Mark will come down. Like, cool, these are the packages on offer. This one's a bit too much. I think I might go for this one. You know what? I've had a good day. I've changed my mind. Let's go back to this one. Cha-ching. Happy with that. Gold package. Done. And while I'm thinking about it, God, I could really use a second shooter. That would be amazing. And I would love nothing more than a same-day slideshow as well. So the bride or your client chooses whatever they want. It automatically updates the total. It automatically updates when the payments are due and how much. I'm happy with that. I click accept. Fantastic. Thank you for accepting this quote. Next step, please review and sign your contract here. So you'll never have to send contracts again by email or even snail mail. It's all done in one smooth process. It's like we've tried to make it as idiot-proof as possible for your clients. That's good. The packages and products that they've selected automatically get copied over to the contract. So they're all there. Happy with that. There's all the T's and C's. Happy, 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 happy. Sign contract. Chris Garbax. Submit. The system can ask for a second signature if you want the groom or another party to sign it as well. Otherwise, next step, complete your questionnaire. Here you can ask them anything you want. Blah, 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 blah. Happy with that. Submit answers. So as soon as that quote was accepted by the client, an invoice is automatically generated. So you guys don't need to go in and create a separate invoice. It's all done automatically. The quote was chosen by them, accepted, and that automatically gets copied over to the invoice, which looks like this. Here's all the details. Here's what's included. Here's when the payments are due, and they can pay by bank transfer, by this this says pay by check, but this can be paid by anything. In the settings, you can set it to be whatever you like. And we accept credit card as well, which is done through PayPal or Stripe, and Square is coming soon. So that's kind of the I guess you could call it the job flow. If you're booking someone in, this is how you would do it.
Yeah, it's cool.
So just to kind of wrap up this little bit, what has happened is that lead, which originally lived here, this is a list of all of the leads that you have. This shows you if it's a wedding lead or a maternity lead or a, whatever headshot. It shows you when the shoot is. It shows you what emails you've sent. It shows you if you have a double booking. So Mark and Chris's wedding lived here before, but as soon as the bride accepted the quote, that lead has now automatically become a job. So Mark and Chris now lives here. These are all the shoots that you have coming up. This shows you how far along the workflow progress you are, if it's a wedding or a headshot or whatever, and what your next task is that you have to do for every different shoot that you've got. So let's just find Mark and Chris's wedding. So now we've seen that this lead stage of the workflow has automatically progressed into job accepted. This stuff doesn't need to happen anymore because we've passed that stage. Any automation that was here will no longer occur because it doesn't need to. Now we're straight into the production stage. Also, the right-hand side is a bit more full now. You can see what invoice you have there. You can see that the quote was accepted on this date. The contract is there for you to review if you ever want to. You can have a look at the answers to their questions here. Let's just say that Mark ended up paying me by cash or by bank transfer or whatever. So I can just quite easily come back to Mark and Chris's job, view the invoice. There's the payment. That's how much money he gave me. Record the payment, done. Easy. If they pay by credit card, that happens automatically and the receipt automatically gets sent to Mark. Cool. And cool. That, guys, that's kind of the crux of it. That's probably like 80% of what you need to see today, I think.
Can you just jump in the calendar for a second and go to that date so people can see that it's just scheduled? So we were March the 27th. I'll never forget that.
Please, man. I can't wait for my anniversary gift.
March 27th. Okay. There you go.
So and also, so we also integrate with Google Calendar. So if you are a Google Calendar user or iCal, you can push your calendars from Google to iCal as well. You can obviously use our calendar here, or I personally use this one, but I use my Google Calendar a little bit more because I've got my dentist appointments and my kids' appointments there. So I like having all my Student Ninja leads and jobs getting pushed to Google so I can see everything in one place as well. Just
a comment from Kylie. Chris is getting married a lot next year.
Yeah, actually, what's going on here?
Chris is...
Don't look at this, Mark. Don't look at this. This is it's gosh, I hope my weddings stay together. Otherwise, it's a lot of divorces coming up.
Cool. All right. I just want to point out something too. Now, one of the biggest questions I get all the time is like, so where do you start? How does it start? And what my suggestion is if you go into settings, Chris.
Yep.
I always suggest everybody start from the top.
Yeah.
Just work your way down.
Yep.
So do global settings first.
I'll just show you what it looks like when you guys log in for the first time. All right. So this is what your account will look like when you first log in. Obviously, it's going to look a bit more empty. We've also got sample lead and sample jobs in there. So you can already start clicking around and like exploring, where you want to. There's already stuff in there. So it's not completely empty from day one. So you can already click around a little bit. But you're right, Mark. So step one is to book a call with us. Step two is to click around a little bit. And then step three is to go to your settings and top to bottom. The easiest place to start is probably your company settings. So let's go to company and let's edit this one. And you'll literally put in your address, where you live, your phone number, you'll upload your logo. If you're in the UK, you'll turn on your GDPR features. You'll upload that client portal banner that you saw before. And then like Mark said, here are all the settings on the left. You'll just literally go down them one by one. So if you have additional staff, you can add users. If you feel like referring a friend, here's all the details. Here you put your currency. If you are registered for tax, put it there. If you're not, take it out. Yeah. Email settings, connect to Gmail or set up your SMTP, put your email signature in. If you'd like to receive notifications when a client accepts a quote, when they send a payment, when they sign a contract, tick that, and you'll receive all of those by email as well.
Yeah. It's literally go from top to bottom. It's literally go email settings, date and time, payment methods, schedules, and you realize that everything links with everything. And there's so much cool videos and content that you can watch and help and along the way that it's actually really simplified.
Yeah, and I mean that was so important. From when I used the other systems, it was too complicated. So it was like the number one priority was that this system had to be easy. And it literally is. Like if you're trying to figure out, how do I change the date? You go to date settings. How do I add some products? You go to the product setting. Like it's super intuitive and obvious. As obvious as we could possibly make it.
One other thing too, I would strongly recommend any CRM that you choose, you set it up yourself. Don't get someone else to do it for you. Because as soon as you pay someone else to do it for you, you don't know what button links to what and where it goes. And I had someone set up Tave, which is awesome. I loved it. It was great. It was there and it worked. It was all looking beautiful. But when I went to use it, I didn't know how to fix anything that I stuffed up because I didn't know where the button was.
Yeah.
So
that's why the one-on-one training call is good, because you won't feel, it is easy to use, but this way you can have someone on the call with you just to, guide you a little bit, give you some advice. Feel free to click around while you're on the call, but we can kind of just help you and guide you a little bit more if at any time you feel lost.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, just for time-wise, do you want to stop sharing your screen for a sec? Just
sure.
For time-wise, we're pushing time a little bit.
Sorry, guys.
Really, no, that's all right. It's all right. We've got a heap of questions here, and I'm worried we're going to be here for questions a fair bit. Quick few things. For the people that are using Studio Ninja, what have we got to look forward to in the future? What's in the pipeline?
Apart from just like, there's some big stuff. The little stuff is just like, improvements to the workflow, improvements to lots of different parts of the system based on user feedback. So that's like, I guess that could be called minor stuff. But then we've got the big stuff is one of the most requested features right now is an online booking system. So we're probably going to spend the second half of this year, possibly the first quarter of next year, building that. It's quite complicated. We're basically rebuilding Calendly into Studio Ninja. So it's quite complicated. But so you guys will actually be able to embed a little bit of code onto your website, and then a client, a bride or a portrait client can literally just go on, choose the date that they want, choose a time that suits them, pay for a package or pay for a product, and then it all automatically gets put into the system as a new job, goes in the calendar, done. We've got quite a few integrations coming up with like MailChimp, PickTime, Flow Themes, and a bunch of other sort of industry partners, which will be exciting. Then there's like just we're also looking at improving our communication from Studio Ninja to the client. So currently we just use email, but we'll also be integrating like automatic text messaging, or ideally, hopefully if we can make it work, like automatic Facebook Messenger messaging, so that the system will just, ping your client through Facebook automatically. Because that's definitely, we're seeing a huge trend that a lot more, including myself actually, a lot more photographers are communicating with their clients via Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger or WhatsApp or whatever. So these are all sort of integrations that we're starting to kind of doing a bit of research about. So a lot of that stuff's coming too.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Very cool. All right, I'm going to take over. We're going to get into questions now as well. Thanks, mates. That is super, super rad. Been a big fan of Studio Ninja. I do have a slight confession, just a slight confession.
Are we still recording?
I've been using the Book Like a Boss, which is really cool for automation. But what happens, it's not linked to a CRM. So kind of data and scheduling and organization is becoming a bit of a hit of an issue in my headspace. So trying to link them both and make it all work has been a bit of a pain. I think I'm going to go back to using Studio Ninja a lot more, because it's ever since, like you said, the clutter in your brain, it's kind of like using Studio Ninja when I was using that 100%. I always knew what was happening, and I didn't have to follow up anything, and it was just so easy, and I could simplify everything. So,
and look,
really,
from our point of view, it's actually a bit of a shame that you're using another software to do your bookings, because really that should be happening through us. So we're very aware of that, and that's why the booking system is a big priority. It's going to take a little bit of time to build it, but the design is like 80% done, so it's gonna get started pretty soon.
There's always a workaround. There's always a workaround.
That's right.
But the best part is, you know, you listen and you evolve.
That's right. We know. We're aware. Yeah.
You don't even have a chance to talk to anybody, and it's the same software for 2, 3, 4 years. So it's all cool. Legendary. Thanks, man. We're going to get into questions. So everyone else, see you later.